OKFM 101.7.
Lawyer Godwin Edgy Tamakloe. Aid Edema former President Mahama. Why a private legal practitioner. Na menene twe enkomo. My able counsel me watching.
Welcome. Anopai me Joso HR OKFM Chiefuna.
Even you are Joso na boko die.
Obo adia Roma. The area is the monitoring of registration exercise. Welcome.
Na monitoring dia mami entio. Yesi akwanso samu denti na uti esuogu uti ntasuogu nsuoma na okawa befa. Mo aproba mo kono die na mu hunu. Die na mo betimni mo adofo ne etiefo nyina che.
Yo, welcome. When say right from the beginning, registration as me, can say there's no need to say, a common copy demonstration in court and stuff, then you have to do something. Now, the Akoba in Oko, many of the registration centers are the Encrophobic Ekan they are registering under protest. And yet they are almost penalty because Sebio Sebe Yareboni ya and Abbey Amansan are grinding to a halt. No. Na Oshe in the beginning, Yaman Penikra dear, as a man or can say, or say you can revive the economy. But and yet dear obey to me, I revive you here. Now onokra kaka say umubia na virus no so a movie. And ne akoba say Yaman Penny epe the Obekano politically engineered register. To the extent that the initial statement said, if you move, the virus moves no. And some years you might be into seeing I am rabonting na enjoying long queues. Now, me sure say OKFM, where journalists, they are there, Omakwa bonting, and monitor processes no. Easy, MIA who's there, a idea or may enforce the friend social distancing protocols, no, our registration center. Where the Ubitimi standing with journalists as mystery shoppers, Omon identify Omo as journalists, no more grounds, more honmukra abelinkwe. And now the testano, Obenya registration centers maybe. Now they will monitor the ecoso. Welcome, Mr. Bio. And CSE nose mask. And
Aye.
Good. Into the Oko registration center before me take you picture no. Ubit me at your nose mask. Welcome. Before me take you picture no, ubeti me ayesa.
There be just so ye.
Just so ye. Now we are who expose yourself.
And why expose you omo dey? Say you be abahumi.
What you say?
Say why expose you omo obahumi nti?
Obahumi.
And you be busa question mo akasa.
Exactly. So either say una odema registration officers no. And now omo so na dey be ma. Two. Would do scanner no hona they be take your fingerprint impression na sebio so the ones abeto machines no so
I would sabeto so
it is so be will be no the nsato so a easy for so omo use hand sanitizers immediately. We go through the process now. Most of these things are not happening. So say a day we register for say 170 na baako kura will be not an insato scanner no so na others and so the almost better scanner no so we should say one scanner will become a very hot spot for sharing the
but lawyer also woni ye nya adwene se sa sanitizer o mde gusui o mde ye ya bo sa abo na wu bo sa abo na oda so no wi
bra kwame san o moka but the impact change na say at least you have a direct spot of the sharing of the disease and a virus. So I say, because from the beginning, almost says that the management of this coronavirus is backed by science. And the science is that the more congregated people are, the more virus is spread. And that is where this issue about enchrophobic, they call it physical distancing instead of social distancing. If we are apart, what I say, Cecilia, Sebe, Oman Penina Kra, CSO isolation and quarantine.
Isolation, yeah.
Isolation. Even though Mate Minister upon Kuma use self-isolation. Matthew Kubo and so technically it's supposed to be quarantine because you isolate Obia tested positive. You quarantine Obia Onya but he has been exposed to someone or be. What I say. So maybe technically the president is under quarantine. What I say. Unless of course there's something we don't know. Because we have been told say one of the security guys had it or something. But the point I've been making is that Oman Pedini Muana Ewo under quarantine because he wants to keep himself away from Obia Sebio Ebia Wanyabi and say what coming in contact with the virus. Meanwhile, the air coastal and then it's there. All of us Ghanaians 18 years and above are supposed to go to registration centers. So now, so their fundamental issues are air coastal. You have nothing else to say but to comply. It's when be air kasa.
Argument about Nkofo Bakwi, Nipa Bishi and say Korea for Nkofo Bebre in the wake of this.
I've seen the Korean example. Korean example was just an election, a day of event. Brakwame, Stabio, who be phone lines now be Sankrophobia. How long have you been in the queue to be registered? Be or what's not queue a day. Obeba early dawn will be sure 6 p.m. crying doing it because my daily I 170, 100, 14, 114, maximum 200. What I say? Meanwhile, go for more queue no adults in sensor, and the more when you contact with this the more the transmission rate of the disease. Some almost said that is the science. And it's almost introducing lockdown so that you'll be in your. If not, then there wasn't any need for the initial lockdown. It was a waste of everybody's time. And at a point, Sebio, and then we have gotten to a point community spread had become the order of the day. And they can say, because a buying crap or massage or manage the coronavirus figures, almost say WHO say almost some protocol. Now one of it, and then they say, so Nipananya Krana within 14 days, ubit me a discharge. Sebio, Ubia Wanya would discharge. At least you must do a confirmatory test. And confirmatory test.
No, but almost cry double check it. It was a negative first one.
Dabi. Or share the release if you are buying waba. So say no, they release the people without a test.
Oh, how? No.
Yes. No, bro, Kwame, into Oshare data now, information are buying a release here. In the past, or recovery simplicity. It means initially Nipano test positive. Yasaya another test at the end. In the way who say virus no any nemupium. So he is recovered. No coffee. So say Oshia, buying data or the a discharge stroke recovery. What I say? And it is all because our hospitals were being run. That is not bed in the the isolation centers were becoming, overcrowded. Okay? So now they had to come out with this so-called WHO protocol to say, WHO say, going forward, after 14 days, virus, in se hunya, into coffee. Into yensan yet test bill, and empty crana, okaya, Embra Ghana Health Service, Papa Kumabu Ajiana, Senefeno.
Dr. Kumabu.
Yes. Also, the letter for Honorable Carlos Ahinkra. I know can say Carlos has tested negative now, and therefore, on Sanye, blah, 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 blah. No. People said, by your initial communication, they said, Obi. There is no need for the test. It's Oshe Abai figures Nina a discharge stroke recovery. The mere fact that you are discharging someone does not mean say onipano inside ni virus nibu. It is sebio. So I can say I should go home and be treating myself at home. Said 1 year the last test to show say I am negative at the time you are releasing me into the crowd, then the danger is that I can possibly be keeping the virus within me. So these are the fundamental issues. And you see, they be a count. Coronavirus, any NDC, any MPP, virus, no any CPP. So when we are doing it, and we use politics instead of science, medical science. We are using politics to take medical decisions. And then they say, you will some pimpins, we say, you say, where the Manoda Sunaso. And Kobase, one EC registration officer, it will be not a day or have an interaction with no less than 170 people. You can imagine. The Sebio Oman Peninu crowd or no onya be a crown. He's under quarantine. Okay? He's under quarantine. How much more? Because he doesn't want to get in contact with other people. How much more? A registration officer who is coming into contact with no less than. So we have basically put politics, Sebio, the political survival of Yeman Penny, ahead of the health and safety of the good people of this country. And this one, it is no NDC MPP politics. Because Sebio, look, my young Krofu Brown, my friend, say, lawyer, we are desirous to go and register. But my parents are above 60 years. Some are 70. We are afraid that if we bring them out, the risk of them contracting this deadly virus is very high. Media Maka, I wouldn't be surprised at all. Say, the registration figures here at the end of the day will not be up to the register new one because who a won't crofum Obia shru say and oba bontia it be a true interaction with people. Obenyabi. Look, we share some of the crowd. Some of the crowd. Look, the people, it appears Ghanaians have given up. So now they are no longer complying with the social distancing protocols. They have given up. And Bakwame, I'm saying, Muyu TV, Omo camera, let them go to the various registration centers and see for yourself. Social distancing they be the distances between people in the queues. And yet disheartening. To Yaria ye new grow. Yaria mansani na esro huno. We have asked our fellow countrymen and women to come out simply because we need a politically engineered voters register. Sebi, if you walk over dead bodies to hold on to power, is that what you want? If you walk over dead body, onante and for emunuso, ejitumia, and then yepe.
Na loye, sanka ndis na waso anka 2020 mumiye ntuaba.
Makacho say, voting day events are different.
Okay.
We are registering for almost 30 days. 30 days. You talk about 30 days for Omamuha. Rakwame. Yawu na when we say you talk about 30 good days. Yema timemu for APA for 30 days because they want to vote.
Oh, Debbie.
When will be that?
Mm-hmm.
So why are we comparing voting to registration? One who said Obi adjoining queue for 2 days before I arrange what about Ghana Hada.
Mm-hmm.
So what are we saying? When there are critical issues, we bring some of these matters to divert attention from the critical issues. What I say? You are talking about Omamuha for 30 days da. You are talking about Omamuha in phases da. I said many again. No credit that one, and like I said, okay, you can step out innocently. Say Okako register. You can keep all the protocols. You are very cautious. Who use your hand sanitizers. Who observe the protocol. Then bam, we move it to EC registration center. We or mask. Your interview bam, no affair no. Through no fault of yours. Look, one of these days, Bakwame, Minister of Health, okay, Minister of Health, and the Director General of Ghana Education Service, they should narrate to you the circumstance under which they contracted the COVID-19. Are you telling me, say, Minister of Health, onim the COVID protocols? Bakwame.
Onim.
Honorable, medical doctors are omanya yare no. What do you say? Omunim protocols no.
They know.
They don't know how to wear mask.
They know.
Doctor Force na who so far.
Me ama sorry software kwada so SDA hospital na one doctor no.
Who so no ne brother kra enso ewu. Wouldn't say yeah can say senior medical doctor Bakukra surgeon and now our Prez hospital. Wouldn't say we film.
Oh.
Do you know how long it takes to even train one medical doctor?
And a specialist for that matter.
Unless for omanya sayari. Bakwame sebi she mamiya ne ba ewu wo University SHSC. Se ne ba wo fia sasem no beto no. To the extent say mami to make her say the last word that efi ne ba ho man ne say ma nanka oba ntema. Na oye awofo na wote sasem na bra Kwame wakoma ye obibia.
Ebe ye obibi.
Say oba wa no your first child, your first son. Also cultural exams. Aban say chinchina ompie no onkotro exams. Na said you onya grade na uwa eneneye. Black Kwame, Nigeria population is over almost 200 million. Almost 200 million, Black Kwame. Omukra Nigeria kra say exam no ya cancel because it is better to be alive than to get your grade and die. Anna. Na se wu na wonya wo grade sebi oba kochro exam yi wanya COVID result no be ban you hope you want. Which one do you want? Okay, and maybe by around 1990s or no. University of Ghana, the universities in the country, you close your more down, Anna. It is always better to have your life. And then the best, in fact, Osha almost the first rule of nature is self-preservation. So, preserving your life. Because once you have life, and that is why the Nigerian Minister of Education, Amadu, said, it is better to protect the children of Nigeria than to force them into crowded places. Ubisa, Minister of Health, what is the cause of the coronavirus outbreak in the secondary school? Also congestion. Congestion. Why would you do that to the children of other people? Why? Why are we doing this to this country?
Okay.
Simply because of politics.
Okay. Now, my memory.
No, Black Kwame, sebi. I say me, you know, me, my go through secondary education. Anything might be do some way. Anything might be do some way. So, obi take a decision and have a far-reaching consequences. Is it a fair thing to do? So, see, Aban said until we have 15%, okay, coronavirus cases in the schools, they won't close the schools down. And now, I know, because teacher union say, "Whoa, not grad." Say, close down their schools because of these avoidable incidents. Aban say, "Chinchineti, oman penini muankasa akote." He's in quarantine. No, see, man, dear, omunkot na bontin hono. You don't have the opportunity to go and visit your children. Because Abai says, what the arena bit media more. Sebio Brakwame, Mimbisa. Easy officials now, Omoko, Echo Register Mofrana, yet a show man's Omokoye. Brakwame. Political party agents now, Omoko schools, were they tested for COVID before they were allowed to enter the schools? What the parents echo dia, they can infest the children. They can become a point of contact. But electoral commission officials there, omutimi koho. Political party agents there, omutimi koho. Now, woman penini mu said you sebe mano dasima so. You are in quarantine. You are in quarantine.
But no, the argument is that COVID, it in fear nine, nesse in koya. No man, you that's what was saying, Qualania moment exams. Near the idea.
Brakwame. Sebi. Mimbisau. Say, if it will take your child 2 years to get a grade, is it not better, say, Obano, be contracted, I renew with him?
Say, quite the omu of you, no mudi agro, no mudi this.
Is it not better? No, Brakwame, is it not better? And I must say, there's history in this country. Even you.
Where Mimi made as well, so many years and be actually.
I'm talking in terms of general terms. But
okay.
We have the finest opportunity to put the health and safety of Timemufonina ahead of our political survival. Look, can you imagine, sir, for all intent and purpose, Your secondary schools were not even registration centers.
okayfm.
Gazeta is then last minute from nowhere, a decision is taken. Secondary schools must now become registration centers. Why are we doing this? Why are we doing this? I mean, why are we doing this to ourselves? Why are we doing this to ourselves? Exposing Timamufuo. They say, say, when you move, the virus move. No, it's no longer relevant. Kasa, near the West, we put West together. Near they are confusing Timamufuo. Sebe. So he is under quarantine because he is protecting his life. He is protecting his life. Meanwhile, you are saying parents say, "Omon form of ma go to school mo." But I mean, beside one question, a teacher for no, omon mo friend na that school mo. A teacher for no mo fi school mo nko fi da. Teacher ni na no sebi obranka no teacher ni na oche mo fana de na se anopa okofi opon a okofi
mami musadio se abato voting day no 1 day obi so betimi akọ contract brain pass event 1 day no etika na ke fan kan so ye nto aba na me say voting day no 7 December no yebeto aba voting day sada no so na event for 1 day no obisi be ta contract.
You see, you are looking at a minimal incidence of it. Okay?
Ebio, sir, me ba so me bo. Me bo.
They may say we say when the thing is a day event, the risk of exposure in the area. The risk of exposure. Why? Minister of Health. So Nyabi. Was it the case that he was not complying with the protocol? He certainly was complying. Mr. Ajimamenu, he's a very careful man. Okay? He's a very, very careful man. GES director. Sebe Yaya Papa. Mafo. You think he's a careless man? Huh?
Abby.
He's a very careful man. Anything with me, I shall know I will do something. But so we are looking at the risk of exposure. The more you keep the people together for a longer time, the greater the chance of their contracting is the virus. Look, and these are the critical matters, Bakwame. And like I said, Sayari, enim NDC, enim MPP. Me, I know people are Omanya Sayari. I know people are Omanya Sayari. It is not something that you can even wish for your enemy. Dabi. So what we are saying, is about the collective health. Now, Blakwame, who places here? No, Blakwame, even before I proceed, trotro drivers, I'm an Okasaya, Omutia, no pay.
Omutia pa,
Who station the Ghana United? And no pay, trotro driver. A buying say, the number of passengers I know taking won't mean taking because of COVID. VIP now there are spaces within because of social distancing and we should throw to money registration center then no more observe the social distancing. A typical trotro any registration center they no more observe the social distancing.
Oh trotro
exactly it is a car sema and yes say obi atna baby keke na bosu
no na me hwe say me van say registration dey dey em say 1 month na atro na every do bra ye to aba no so dia sa dey 1 month atro na 1 day and baako yi ni nyinaa. Enti we expect say even voting day no.
On the day of voting, Obia Mbisa for 2 guarantors.
Bible sabeti me fidie so.
Hold on. When we say Obia say bring 2 guarantors. When we say Obia we do registration center, Obia Bisa say your name, your mother's name, your date of birth. What is that? What is that?
Debbie.
Assembly now okay. Registration day, voting day. When we say you take your picture or voting data. Assembly now okay. There are 2 different things altogether. There are 2 different things altogether. Why are we trying to confuse the 2?
Eti, are we looking at the situation? Say, voting day, no, there won't be risk of people contracting the disease.
You see, I told you, sir. Oh, sorry if you feel cry or pay. Would do despite more ship building, yeah. Don't no cry, ube be a cry, no. You are exposed to some risk, Anna. You are exposed to some risk, but it is about the degree. It's about the degree. I may use a classic example of a registration center and trotro. Who pick trotro inside that? Who compare no to a typical registration center? Who say trotro drivers are more observing social distancing than the registration centers? These are the activities that take place on an election day are minimal. They are minimal compared to activities that are taking place during registration. We do registration. Now, we need Ghana card, we need passport. You need 2 more guarantors. You're facing the crowd. We hear Obia Obefele in the data on the day of voting. Who enters your data? When we say we do see we kwakoto abani ebisa say we are Ghana ni and we are Burkina Faso. But during registration, so the contact hours, the contact time between you and the registration officers is more compared to the day of voting. Is this one too much for anybody to understand?
OKFM 101.7.